Today I'm going to talk about SOPA. We've heard another speech about that before. What it stands for is Stop Online Privacy Act. And basically what it is approximately a year ago, a Senate Republican in Texas, basically Judiciary Committee in Texas Republican Lamar Smith, along with 12 co-sponsors, introduced the act. And it's basically, it has consisted of, from one hearing on November 16th and a makeup period on December 15th, which was designed to make the bill more agreeable to both parties. Basically, what it does is that you're regulating the internet. And my first claim with that is SOPA would violate the First Amendment. My main claim is that it's unconstitutional, and one of my supporting claims is that it violates the First Amendment. And it would basically, by violating the First Amendment, I want to go into what the definition of the First Amendment is specifically. And basically, the First Amendment states that, that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of people to peacefully to assemble and the petition to the government for a redress of grievances. Basically, when you're trying to regulate the internet, you're not allowing people to peacefully assemble on the internet. That's a violation of the First Amendment right there, along with you can't even say what you want to say on the internet. Basically, SOPA would include an anti-circumvention clause, which holds that telling people how to work around SOPA is nearly as bad as violating the main provision. So if the law is enacted, it's illegal to even tell people how to work their way around it, which is basically saying it's illegal to tell someone something, which is a violation of the freedom of speech. If your Facebook status updates links to the Pirate Bay, Facebook would be legally obligated to remove it. And the same is for tweets, YouTube videos, Tumblr, or WordPress posts, or sites indexed by Google. And if Google, Twitter, WordPress, Facebook, etc., if they let your post stay on the internet, they actually could go to jail. They could be fined by the government and be sentenced to jail for up to 5 years. They could and would be shut down, and this is a quote from Brian Barrett on Gizmodo. And the sad part about this is you could literally see the entire disappearing of your entire digital life. It would require search engines to delete domain names, which could begin a worldwide arms race of unprecedented censorship of the web. SOPA takes away a person's ability to communicate without reprimand. It places the control of what a person is allowed to post on the internet in the hands of the government, the film industry, and content providers. A person can no longer speak for themselves. While Facebook and Twitter have the financial wherewithal to stave off anti-circumvention to shutdown notices, the smaller sites you use to store your photos, your videos, your thoughts may not. If the government decides that any part of the site infringes on copyrights and proves it in court, your digital life is gone and you can't get it back. SOPA would interfere with interstate commerce. The act would ban advertising networks and payment processors from conducting businesses with certain websites. Payment processors or content providers like Visa or YouTube don't even need a letter to shut off a site's resources. The bill's vigilante provision gives broad immunity to any provider who proactively shutters sites it considers to be infringers, which means the MPAA needs to publicize one list of infringing sites to get those sites blacklisted from the internet. So literally one word from one official could, like, say you start a business online, if the government says that your business is not legit, you could literally see all of your revenues disappear, and that entire business that you spent your whole life trying to build up is lost just as a result of some officials saying that you're violating some copyright act. And the irony in this is there's actually already an act already enacted currently today that actually addresses a lot of these grievances. It's actually what's saddest about it, it's pointless on two fronts. In the U.S., the MPAA and the RIAA, which are they're the organizations that establish ratings on movies and stuff, they actually have the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to request the infringing materials be taken down. And you know that this already exists today because you've seen on YouTube, this link no longer exists because you're publishing copyrighted material. So obviously by seeing that one link alone, you know that there's already a SOPA type act already initiated. So by initiating SOPA on top of that, it literally just takes rights away from an individual person to say what they want. We've all seen the video removed messages, so you know that this works just fine. Court orders would require internet service providers to ban access to infringing websites at no cost. The resources it would take, well, this is according to Brian Barrett at Gizmodo, the resources it would take to self-police are monumental for established companies and unattainable for startups. Like, a company like Google has the financial wherewithal to stave off something like this, but in order to implement a system of actually trying to regulate all the copyrighted material on the internet, it's just financially not possible. Like, literally they would go bankrupt. So like the law is just kind of ridiculous on that from a financial standpoint. Many businesses' primary engine of advertising is their websites, and if these websites were to go black as a result of SOPA, these businesses would go bankrupt, as I said earlier. My third claim is SOPA would inhibit the creation and expansion of new ideas and intellectual property over the internet. Although SOPA is designed to protect intellectual property rights, these could impose so much regulation that it will prevent the creation of new intellectual property. The beating heart of SOPA is the ability of intellectual property owners such as movie studios and record labels to effectively pull the plug on foreign sites and whom they have the copyright claim. If Warner Brothers, for example, says that a site in Italy is torrenting a copy of The Dark Knight, the studio could demand that Google remove the site from its search results, that PayPal no longer accept payments to or from that site, that ad services pull ads from finance from it, and most dangerously, that the site's internet service provider prevent people from even going there. So literally, you're preventing you're literally imposing on someone's free will. Like, you don't even have the choice of what websites you want to go to, and now you're right back to communist China, which is where they're at right now, and that's far from where we want to be. Websites such as Google would be shut down and risk up to 5 years in jail if they do not agree to shut down websites that publish copyrighted material. This is a quote from CNET. On November 15th, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Zynga, eBay, Mozilla, Yahoo, AOL, and LinkedIn wrote to key members of the U.S. Senate and House Representatives saying SOPA poses a serious risk to our industry's continued track record of innovation and job creation, as well as to our nation's cybersecurity. Yahoo has reportedly quit the U.S. Chamber of Commerce over the organization's enthusiastic support of SOPA. The irony here, though, is that not even Google wants the bill passed, even though it would give them a lot of power. They would be at the whims of the government and the film and music industry. Even the companies doing the controlling would be controlled. The law is just too narrow to allow people to do anything. As a result, potential for abuse is rampant. According to publicknowledge.org, Google could easily take it upon itself to delete every viral video it has on the internet with a good faith belief that they're hosting copyrighted material, leaving YouTube as the only major video portal. Comcast, an internet service provider, owns NBC, a content provider. They think they might have an interest in shutting rival domains? I think so. Under SOPA, they can do it without even asking for permission. And lastly, blog websites such as Tumblr, which contain pages of people's free thoughts and ideas, would be blacked out. What's saddest about this is, you can't even say anything that you want. Everything on the internet is going to be censored. I thought that was at the point of the internet, is it's supposed to be a community where you can communicate freely and openly and share ideas. But if this were enacted, that's all gone. And so honestly, I'm not exactly saying use the internet. When you use sites such as Google, you're protesting that you don't want something like SOPA enacted. When you use Google, you're allowing the freedom of information to be passed freely. And if you were to vote in favor of SOPA, you would be eliminating all of that, and I think you'd be eliminating part of yourselves, because we all use Facebook, we all use MySpace, we all use the internet, and with SOPA enacted, that would be gone. So just use the internet and write your congressman and tell them to not support it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
Oh, RJ or Robbie? Renzi, R-E-N. Sorry, I had to left it to leave.